It's moving along.
Friends in the back. Can I do on vibes and chimes?
Okay. Yes.
I mean, if you want to go back and forth, but there's a really cool chime part. So, great.
There should be notes in the back.
Alright.
There's mallets in the bag, but no snare drum. Okay. We're good.
Oh, okay. Alright, so we're going to start with just go on through, see how it goes, and see what we get. And this is the clarinet part that we don't have. Does anyone have cues? Or not yet? No. Alright.
Maybe a trumpet can
Would one of our trumpet friends like to try the clarinet part? Take 2 seconds, look at it, look up the finger if you need. Alright, let's try that note again. clarinets and not enough clarinets. All right. So I want to share, before we go on about this, I'm going to read, or just kind of like summarize what this is about. So he said it's Ripley watercolors, and he wrote it kind of like for his nieces, and just kind of the joy they bring and how kids like to play, and they'll dream of anything. So it's kind of like this dream landscape, where it's kind of like everything blends together. So I think we've done a really good job of like blending our tones. But let's try and like do a section and focus on that. Focus on how your neighbor sounds and sounding like your neighbor. See if you can sound like one person. All right, let's try that.
Hey Clara.
Yeah.
You know what's really interesting? When you talk about the piece, you are very expressive with your hands.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
Okay. All right. Let's start at 16. So what were other things you noticed? Did it feel different? Did it sound different? Any thoughts? What were you thinking?
I feel like we tuned better. It sounded like we tuned each other.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I think, one of the hardest things about this piece is it's lots of long tones. It's all long tones. So trying to get that tuning is really hard. So that's a good way to do it. So I want to try something else. Can everyone stand up and sit as someone new? All right. So same thing again. Focus on trying to sound as similar to your neighbor as you can. And it's going to sound different now that you're singing quite different instruments. Not that we have a lot of singing instruments. Same spot. Right at 16.
That sounds like a huge problem.
If you're sharing music, you can stay where you are.
Wait, where are we starting?
16. Yeah. How'd that feel compared to last time? Did you hear different parts, different textures? Alright, Emily, on that one, that trumpet part, that's the only part that has that. You can play that like a dynamic and a half louder. Let's do that one more time before we go back to our spots.
Hey Clara.
Yeah.
How many different parts are in this section?
There's flutes and oboes are together. There's clarinet, which we don't really have. I think it's 2.
There's like melody bass line basically,
Yeah,
right?
basically.
Might be isolate that.
Yes.
Just curious how it sounds in this setup.
Yeah.
If
All
they're
right.
actually separate or not.
So if you have quarter notes in measure 16, if you don't have quarter notes, could you stand?
It's 5 minutes.
Alright, if you didn't just play there. So if measure 16 you have whole notes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're good. Alright, let's try it again. Alright, should be our wonderful low brass buttons.
Hold on here. It's okay. It's okay.
Alright, ready?
So, question for you. I'm sorry, I meant you said great.
Oh, thanks, and hold on.
No, I was like, you said.
Oh.
No, I don't think so. So, if we are, okay. If we're gonna rehearse this section, rhythmically, is it difficult?
No.
Not really, right? It probably doesn't take us that long to like get it, right? Vertical alignment and all that, right? So why else should we spend time on this section?
I think it's a good like overall of like the long tones and getting the different harmonies in there.
And what else is on the page besides notes and rhythms?
There's a lot of dynamics.
Yeah. Right? And one of the cool things I think about, obviously, ball mages. Is that what it says?
Bell majors.
Ball pages.
Bell majors.
Is there's so many, like, it's very clear in his orchestration, melodically and just ranges on the instruments where things come out. So this melody thing, 2, 3, 4, 1, with like a slur up and over the bar line, that's pretty fun. It's clearly labeled like crescendo, arrive at the long note. But there's like, we can dig into that, right?
Yeah.
And have that be like the beacon that everybody else listens to, right? Like the lower notes to give them a sense, because they're just like floating around the ocean. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, no, look at our melodic beacons, right? So can you like rehearse that a little bit, but maybe no?
Yes.
So I'm like,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Alright, so back to the first group that played. So for the chord notes, we want to push through it and go somewhere with it. And think about how the notes connect to each other.
Yeah, that was like something fun to play, right? Yeah, I don't know. So as I'm poking at you because I saw you rehearse this morning and
Yeah.
But as you're getting up to like, these like really the specificity levels, right?
Right.
Like dive into that, right?
Yeah.
Get into the things that aren't on the page. Like there's stuff on the page that we can all get into. Like the first like few readings probably, relative grade 2 level band, maybe nothing else, grade 7 grade, maybe depending where you're at, right?
Yeah.
A couple rehearsals and you're good. But like there's stuff you can be like, okay, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And have it be like this conversation and have it dynamic,
Yeah.
right? And then like as you conduct it, it's not just like time,
Right.
but like I was getting with Katie, right? Like engage all of this, right? Are we over time here?
We have 8 seconds.
Perfect. But honestly, your demeanor, like, I really want to play for Claire, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Someone tell me what it's about.
I think it's almost like the American cookies, the American are.
Yes. So this piece, which I studied extensively for about 30 minutes, has sort of two moods to it, two contrasting moods. I did not get that from the program notes. So this is sort of about, not to get political, but like the America we have been and continue to be is not great, right? There's not good things going on. And that can be applied to the world, but this specifically is about America. And then there's this hopefulness we have for the America of the future. So we're going to hear that a little bit. We're going to start measure 87. And yeah, we're just going to do 87 to the end, and then we'll talk. Cool. 87. All right. Raise your hand if you heard sort of two moves. Yeah, give me one of the moves.
Worried.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay. Worried. Where did you hear that, Katie?
At 95.
95, okay. What else?
Longing.
Longing. Ooh, where'd you hear that?
I would say it starts at 95.
Yeah, okay. What else? Come on, people.
Triumphant.
Thank you. Where?
Triumphant at 87.
You need to, okay, at 87. Cool. Okay, so what I got from this is I got that there's sort of like a determined aspect of this piece, but also kind of angry at the same time. And then there's the hopeful. You're dreaming of the future, right? And then you have like, oh my God, everything is terrible. Nothing we do is working, right? And that doesn't feel good. So let's come up with some ways. Because, okay, music is art. Same, I did a lesson with this with a painting, Katie remembers. And we related this back to a painting, but like, do people just make paintings and be like, oh, cool? Or are they supposed to make you feel something?
They're supposed to evoke emotion from the audience. It's the same with music. This specifically has a purpose. So we have to learn how to communicate that purpose through the music. It's not just what's written, it's how we play it. How do we communicate worry through music?
Harder articulation.
Love it. So maybe harder, maybe not harder, maybe like clearer, more deliberate articulations. Okay, cool. Oh my god, my handwriting. Sorry, everyone.
Swell.
What is it?
Swelling.
Swelling. Yeah, I would put that in longing as well.
Yeah.
Triumphant.
Absolutely.
Accents, clarity, cool. Okay, so this is great. I'm gonna add my own 2 main words. So I said, I want to use the exact words I came up with, and I can't remember them because my brain is fried. Hope and frustration. Okay, so let's do frustration and hope. These are gonna be our 2 main moods throughout this piece, okay? What can we do to convey hope specifically?
You could be more lifted.
More lifted? Neat. So in that section that we just played, where do we see where hope started? We started at 87, by the way. Yeah, I said 95, yeah. So that would be that kind of theme that we'll hear throughout when we play this whole thing. So more lifted. What about more connected?
Yeah.
Is this generally the loudest section or the softer section? Soft. Cool. All right, what about frustration now? Yeah.
Accented or more fronts to the notes.
Yeah, more front, I love that. Cool, and kind of pretty much everything we said up here, like clear articulations. What about in terms of like blend? Like who needs to be our like big, strong voice in the frustrated sections? Yes, I didn't give that away at all. Okay, what about here? What's the other option? Winds, also vibes.
Yes.
Oh, snare. Cool. Let's play that section again with this in mind. Use this as a reference. Peek over at it when you can. 87. So really think bum bum ba ba ba, length to the notes, but front to the articulation. We don't want to sound like Bush, right? That's not frustrated. That's just soup, right? 87. Ready? Something unclear about my fret, but I'm not sure what it was. Does anyone want to help me? Is it just faster than you expect? Or am I doing something wacky?
It was the breath.
It was the breath?
I think it was maybe a little familiar.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Okay, let's just do that again. I think, yeah, that was partially my fault. So after the retardando at 95, we're gonna stay in a slower tempo, and I did not, so it's not bad. Okay, 87 again. Think about music. Think about more accent. What?
You're doing awesome. I love everything about this.
Thank you.
This is so good.
Thank you.
Yes. Amazing. When you start, this kind of goes for everybody, but I think it was awkward a little bit because of the breath, but it was an audible breath. Some people in the profession call it the music ed gulp, which really drives me up the wall.
I'm using that forever. I love it.
But it's something, I mean, it exists like that. Right?
Yeah.
But like, why do it? You know what I mean? Like, you can't breathe for it. You can't be like, like a mama flirted with a baby. You know what I mean? So you might as well, just like give them the space to do, right? Yeah. So,
Imagery,
and
okay.
that, the condos, what's like the rule as you slow down?
More space.
Yes. So make sure you're using space as you get there, right?
Okay, 87. Anyway,
Yeah, better, for sure. Now, not to say that you can't breathe when you start, you should breathe.
it should.
Humans, but like, it doesn't need to be a right?
Right, okay.
Like that, I don't know. Even that's too loud. But more importantly.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, and clearer retard in 94? Yeah, no?
You can be
I think there's something, you're like getting into like legato land early.
Yeah, I think it's because when I think bigger, I get rid of like the
Yeah.
harshness and it's more like this, so that's why it's.
Yeah, but it's okay to still give us like a little something on each beat. Right? And once we're in anything. Yeah, can we just try that for fun?
Yes, 87? Yes, 87.
For fun, you do the last two measures and do something different.
Okay.
Like think about, think about the sound you want in the last note. Like exactly like the weight, the shape, and then how you might show that. And then how you could get into that. I have a feeling it's not like a key. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Can we do last 4 bars so I can get into that? For the sorry. Last 4 bars? I feel weird not giving time in the first sonata.
Well, okay, so you weren't giving time, but we weren't giving anything. Like there was no like movement. So it's okay to like for tick, 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 tick. There's still like movement. Air is
was doing that, so that's
Yeah.
crazy.
it was-
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, last 4 again. Just imagining.
Yeah, okay, I would buy that. Yeah. If you ever look the concert band at Michigan, Dr. Courtney lot of times she ends a piece with like this. It's like a thing, and it's so funny. I've like worked with her for like years, and she just does that. It's so funny. I don't know. But it's like a thing, right? When it's like, yeah, right. Yeah. I love your lesson.
Thank you.
Do we all love it? Thank you. So when we're talking about emotion, like this, yeah, it's possible, right? Yeah, we had a timer.
We have 12 seconds.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, really fast. Thank you.
Well done. Awesome.
Oh, you.
No.
You.
Oh, thank you, Katie.
You're welcome. I'll send it to your box.
Probably caught some like
Oh, there was some
very anxious like.
Well, I can't wait to watch mine. You're like, you know what I mean? I didn't know exactly what
Very specific.
Yes. I'm gonna ask you about my script when we're done. I'll chat that.
There's something, I don't know. There's something going on. Something. Oh boy. Is that me?
That's all for you, Dr. Vecchio. It's Q&A time. Y'all can just put your music in the folder, adopt them around, or someone from around like that. Let's, we have Dr. Vecchio here, let's ask you some questions.
Sorry. Sure. Apologies if you heard this maybe multiple times. I am from central New York, Syracuse area. Small town called Chimango. It's where L. Frank Baum was born, author of Wizard of Oz. Every year we have the Oz extravaganza. We have a yellow brick sidewalk. There are Z's. Oz Cream is our ice cream shop. Yeah, I was a scarecrow for many years. Yeah, went to Ithaca for my bachelor's in music and euphonium performance. That's where I met Dr. Fleming. She was not Dr. at that point. I came later. But yeah, taught in New York for a couple of years, got my master's in Michigan in euphonium, and then out of Michigan, and then taught in Chicagoland for 6 years. Back to Michigan for a PhD, and then back to Illinois for this. For you. Yeah. Tonight. Yeah. This is what it's all been leading to. Yeah. Here we are. Yeah. So that's the quick notes. Here.
Which grade levels have you taught and which are your favorite?
Oh boy. Okay. Ooh. I've taught mainly K-8. Mainly 5, 4, 5, 8. Band. Have also along the way taught high school in various capacities, and then obviously college kids. So the favorite, honestly, I think 5th grade band is like, that's it. It's yeah. There's something special about 10-year-olds, like trying to make music out of these like inanimate objects. It's pretty fun. But they're like, they come in like primed and ready to go. And I'll be like really excited. And it doesn't take too much to motivate them. It takes a lot to demotivate them, unmotivate. I don't know what it is, but yeah. So it's that's the most fun. In fact, the first semester of the PhD, I handed out instruments to like sophomores in Michigan. I was like, okay, we're gonna learn some rudiments. Here we go. They're like, thanks, George, so. We're not excited about this like 10-year-olds were. It's so sad. So, Mike.
Yeah, so Dr. Peterson talked a little bit about like how he ended up in the college world, and he was like, actually, I taught high school forever. You know, is there a particular reason like that you ended up in like teaching college?
That's
Or
a
is
very
it happenstance? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I just walked in and they said, take your job.
Yeah. That's a good question. I mean, there were many factors, many factors that went into it. I love my job. I was teaching in Northbrook Glenview, School District 30, Maple Mustangs, or Mustangs. We spent 3 years designing a brand new middle school, and then it was built the summer I got to go get my doctorate. It was really sad. I still haven't even been in that building to see what it's like. I think it's amazing. Anything I could want was there, and it was like, literally, I said, actually, I told my administration that I was leaving to go get the doctor, and they posted the job, like anticipated opening, and then people were calling Dr. Fleming saying, "Did Mike lose his job? Like, what happened? Why is he leaving? Why would you ever leave the North Shore of Chicago? Like, that's, what are you doing?" You know? There's some of that. But honestly, I had student teachers hooked up through Dr. and Mrs. Peterson from U of I. And that process really kind of woke me up to like, oh, I could do that. I could like teach future teachers. That's cool. Yeah, just because they came in with just different personalities and philosophies of what music could be. And I tried to like challenge them, but just show them like, it doesn't have to be what you grew up with, you know, other things too, which they got from this program, obviously, but it's different when you're like in it, you know, every day, and you tend to revert back to how you've been taught, and that's like your safe zone, but it doesn't have to be, you know, you grow from there. So that process was like, well, like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And then we uprooted our lives and our income and everything. Both of us went back to school. So, does that make sense? Yeah. That's good. Hey.
So Kira, Sophie, and I have like a few weeks left, and we're gonna go East to lectures.
Yeah. When I student taught,
Or since you've had student teachers.
when I student taught, I would record every lesson on VHS. So it's changed since then. My supervising teacher, this will not be the case for you, but my supervisor from Vecchio college was not kind. He observed me 3 times, and the last one he said, "I wish I could work with you for another year because you are not ready to be kind." Oh man, literally, I was like, okay, I'm not teaching. I'm not gonna go into teaching like this. That's it. So it was like a wild experience. Like my co-op was the nicest human. It was, I think I did it kind of funny. It was split, like you did a whole bunch of stuff junior year, and then like a really like full-time student teacher, like half a block, like or half a semester senior year. So my full-time student teaching was in high school, and yeah, those teachers were great, and I learned a whole bunch. It was scary. It was not like it was not too far from where I grew up, but it was a totally different type of program. And I was like in charge. I remember being so nervous. I was in charge of like scale tests, and the student came in and he knew like 2 notes out of like the C flat major scale, and I'm like, okay, well that's a 12, I guess. Like you got a 12. And the kid was like crying, and I'm like, these are the parameters. I don't know. Like, sorry, this is teaching. Yeah. So just that, like, by the end of the term, like the teacher personality, podium personality, teacher presence, all that stuff started to become more natural. It is awkward though, because especially if you're in a high school situation, you're not that much older than the students, but you are hopefully years beyond them maturity wise. And you go back and you're like, oh, they're babies. Oh my goodness, they're so young. What is happening? But it's like, it's a weird thing. So you just gotta be like, I'm professional, I'm awesome, go me. That'd be great. Yeah.
Bouncing off of that, do you have any advice for like how to prepare for student teaching? Mindset or like practical things?
Yeah. It's okay to not, bouncing off my answer, it's okay to not be, get the approval or like, you know, affirmation from every human that you meet. You're gonna want it and probably crave it, but you don't, it's okay. you know, like people will think you're fine and not like tell you. Typically teaching is a fairly thankless job. So in the real world, you're not like, you know, at the end of each lesson, you're not like waiting for those like, thanks, Mr. B, or something, you know, there's no like, there's some of that in fifth grade, but that's clear. Make sure your sleep schedule is, so you can actually wake up earlier and go to bed by like 8. Well, no, you don't have to do that, but it's kind of like, you're gonna just be tired, you know? It's exhausting. Make sure you take time for yourself during that, so like kind of, I guess, prep what you're gonna do, and like how long that's gonna take for like, you know, whatever it is, like running or baking or whatever, like whatever's gonna be possible, but like do it. And like literally schedule and carve out time and say like, this is it, this is me time, done, you know, and that's okay. Even if it means like, oh wait, I spent a half an hour less on my lesson planning for the next day. It's okay. Everybody's gonna survive. I don't know if any of that helped, but. There's 2. I don't know your name. What's your name?
I'm Haley.
Haley. Hello.
Hello. Do you want to go first?
No, it's okay, I got.
So obviously, like, you and Dr. Fleming, like, do very similar things, if not the same thing. How do you not talk about that all the time? Like, how do you have other things that you can talk about and share?
Great question.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. Pretty much the dinner conversation is music and teaching and conducting and, yeah, it's a lot of that. So we're very different humans though. Like I don't know, like I think we're a good balance because I'm a little bit, she's very put together. I'm less put together, maybe. I don't know. So she'll be score studying, and I'll be playing Mario Kart. It's like a typical. It's like a typical
Character choice.
Oh, I'm the humble villager. Yeah. Yeah, the villager on the comment. It's not the fastest, but it's anyway. So yeah, I don't know, it's been wild. The past few years have just been absolutely bonkers because of like grad school and everything. And then this fall, it's been wild. She's been making all the dinners, which is usually my job, but because I've been like finishing the dissertation and all of that, but that's done now. So like literally today I got home from teaching. I was like, whoa, what do I do right now? What am I supposed to do? What do adults do? So I looked on Amazon for stuff. Yeah, I don't know. But before that, I guess when she was teaching and I was teaching, we're both into running, but we go at like different paces. We have like different routes and different, I don't know, workout plans. So it's like a similar thing, but different enough. I love golf. You know, I was thinking worried about that. I don't have enough money to like go play golf all the time, which is why I got into disc golf. Because it's cheaper, but a totally different cross section of humanity. It's very different. But yeah, I don't know. There's a few different things we're doing. But
You guys don't get tired of it all the time?
honestly, no. Not yet. Just because it's every day is different. Like I talk to friends that are in different professions and they're like, yeah, we had a big update in the server this week. Or, you know, I'm like, oh, I had a 4th grade clarinet player like vomit on everybody. That was great. You know, I know teaching is like never been long. It's fun. Mike?
Okay, so what is a class that you're really excited to teach next semester, and what's one that you wish maybe was offered in the curriculum that we don't currently offer?
Ooh, okay. So I am ridiculously excited to teach 344. Yeah, secondary band methods. Very, very excited, mainly because I'm manifesting it so that it kind of fits a model that I think makes sense, maybe a course that I wish was offered, but it kind of a combo where it's immediately after 332, so that all the folks that are enrolled in 332 advanced wing conducting, I think that's called, and folks that are in secondary band methods, there's a lot of things that are similar and a few things that are kind of in the conducting or music ed buckets. So like gesture, movement fundamentals, like that type of stuff, conducting. Curriculum development and like all that kind of stuff, like music ed. But there's like so many other things that are both worlds. You know what I mean? Rehearsal techniques. It's kind of all of it, right? Pacing, lesson planning, all that stuff. Score study. So I'm frantically making that happen for next term, so that it's much more of a crossover. What I've learned is that in higher ed, especially in big like R1 institutions like this one, it's often the case that music ed and performance world are separate, which I think is just silly because it's all one thing. Like your experiences, you are future music educators and you're going through this program to teach children on the other side. Everybody that you're in contact with in like in this building and in music ed land have all taught children. And that's why we're here, So why not? Reach the gap. That's kind of the point. I don't know if I answered your question. Yeah. Okay. Nathan?
You are speaking directly to me. I am double majoring in music education and clarinet performance, and I feel so similarly. Like, why is there such a disconnect?
Yeah. Well, for me personally, I couldn't decide what I wanted to be when I grew up until after my master's, I think. Like I have 2 master's degrees, one in euphonic performance, one in music ed. And even after that, when I was teaching in Chicago area, I couldn't decide. I was like playing in like Chicago brass band and like North Shore and like doing recitals and stuff. And I was like, I love performing, but I love teaching. And at a certain point you have to like decide, but you don't really have to, I guess, if you just want to like teach your whole life and also make music your whole life, that's possible too. You don't need a piece of paper that says you're a great performer, right? So, I don't know. I guess it's just the baggage of the euphonic performance master's degree. What am I going to do with that? Yeah, it's silly. Edit.
I like feeding off that, since you say you love performing, like, but what opportunities do you have, like, with euphonium and stuff?
Today?
I think like, I play euphonium too, and I often think like, okay, if it's not a community band, that's like what I'm supposed to do.
Well, I feel like things are changing though. Like you can, so for instance, I was playing in North Shore Concert Band, and director of Libertyville High School, Adam Gore, his wife Kendra was my section mate, and we put on recitals. Like we were just like, hey, let's go like run out in church for a day and just go do this. And it was fun, but there's ways to do that don't have to be like band, you can do other chamber stuff. You can do, there's tons of things like branching out into like, I don't know, not just busking on the street or something, but like electronics and, whatever, like going into schools and like doing different things. Like there's options out there. You can still be new and fresh and cutting edge stuff, and not have it just be like a career or like military bad for us, right? That's pretty much it. Professionally. From all our seven.
Were you able to do both your masters at the same time, or did you have to break them up in different years?
Same time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that was silly. That was really silly. But yeah, same time. It was a lot. Like the second year, I wrote a thesis and did like, it was like a concerto competition, and like all these things that like, and like performing at like regional two people in conferences, you know, like stuff like that. It's like, wow, like, what? But time management, you know, it's like, okay, like waking up at, you know, 6 a.m. and like 7 to 9 is practice time, and then, you know, you just make it happen. I don't know. I feel like those times it's like you're able to operate at a level that works. You know, like you can really get things done. When it's like less on the plate, it's like that's when waffling happens. You know, like right now, like on Amazon, like, what am I doing? Like, no, I need structure. You know, so.
What's something that you wish like you told yourself, like if you could go back now and tell your college self, like, hey, do this, and you'll be more prepared to teach. Like, what's that something that you could say? And then also, what's something that you did do that you're like, yeah, good job.
Good job, me. Yeah. One thing I wish I said was that the balance of kind of going off of these types of things, the balance of like work-life things is not true. It doesn't actually happen. It's never really a balance, but there's ways to make it so that it's satisfying. Like you can pursue your passions and make it so that you're not burning yourself out. Based on, you're really diving in like this week or two, like school is it. Like I really have to go in deep here. And like my whole life is gonna be this like dissertation, for instance, right? And like cranking that thing out was like, but then you come out the other side and it's like, okay, now the pendulum swings and I can have way more time for like family and like life and things outside of work, you know? Like it's okay to like spend time heavy duty in like each compartment of your life. It doesn't always have to be like this perfectly balanced thing because it's never really balanced, you know? And one thing that I did that I think helps is making sure that I was making music throughout my time teaching to like keep myself grounded as an artist. That sounds like it's important. But like, you know what I mean? Like it's like rejuvenating to like make art. Because that's what we got us in this in the first place, right? It's not like you know the teachers that are like oh they don't know anymore. You know? And it's like I don't know, there's something about like musicianship that's like in here that needs to be let out and like exercised and work like a muscle in some ways, you know? And if it lies dormant or like, I don't know, there's like other parts of like potential teaching moments that are kind of left like stale, you know? Yeah. So, good job, me. And that, I feel like.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Of course. And you're gonna be great teachers. You already are. Oh.
Your socks are so much fun.
Yes.
They're my dogs.
You have a dog.
Yeah.
Oh.
Actually, all my dogs. He's very nervous.